Right, let's get into some news items. And the first one is another firing or resigning, spelt Fired. And this time it's President Trump's personal assistant, Madeleine Westerhout, whose office sits in front of the Oval Office and has served as the president's gatekeeper since day one of his administration. Now, she resigned last Thursday, and two people familiar with her exit said that her exit was abrupt and unexpected, and it came after Mr. Trump learned on Thursday that she had indiscreetly shared details about his family and the Oval Office operations, and she was part of at a recent off-the-record dinner with reporters staying at hotels near Bedminster, New Jersey, during the president's working vacation. Now, speaking on the condition of anonymity to discuss White House personal issues, the breach of trust meant immediate action, and Ms. Westerhout, one of the people familiar with her departure, said was now considered a separated employee and would not be allowed to return to the White House. There's a lot more of that going on, I can tell you. New York Attorney General Letitia James on Wednesday condemned a video posted by the Rockland County Republican Party, calling it anti-Semitic for falsely warning that Hasidic Jews are plotting a takeover. And the advertisement, which was posted on the group's Facebook page, has since been taken down, and it shows dark storm clouds while dramatic, ominous music plays. You could say that about most alt media radio shows. It's the way it is. You can't criticise one particular group, as we all know. It claims overdevelopment has plagued Rockland, which is about 25 miles north of New York City, and singles out Rockland County legislator Aaron Wyder. And the video uses the phrase "a storm is brewing" and says what's at stake is our way of life. I think our show's more than covered why that person would say that. If you investigate enough, the truth reveals itself. And the text in the video read, "If they win, we lose." And James called the video deeply disturbing, to clearly state that members of the Jewish community are a threat to families and our safety, and that they must be stopped, is despicable, completely unacceptable. Yes, it is to the Jewish community, but not to the Zionists. Two different peoples, two different agendas, two different goals in life. And I'm pleased to see a lot of the Jewish people are stepping up against these Zionists operating under their name. Paid actor Republican Ocasio-Cortez on Thursday has defended their right to block people on Twitter, saying harassment is not a viewpoint. Says the woman who harasses the president on a daily basis with her stupidity. And she went on, "I have 5.2 million followers." Are there really that many stupid people? 5.2 following a paid actor. And less than 20 accounts are blocked, she said, for ongoing harassment, and none are my constituents. She went on, "No one is entitled to abuse." Really? She needs to look at her own words. And she added that people are free to speak whatever classist, racist, false, misogynistic, bigoted comments they'd like, but that they do not have the right to force others to endure their harassment or abuse. Really. And our favourite World Horror Organisation has chimed in again with fear porn, "We're all going to die." And they're now claiming the second largest, second deadliest Ebola outbreak in history. It's catastrophic, it's damaging. Oh no, that's the Weather Channel. That has exceeded 3,000 cases and 2,000 deaths as the year-long epidemic continues despite access to, quote, an experimental vaccine and developmental treatments. You know what that means, or you should do by now. And a total of 3,004 people have reported symptoms of fever in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo since August the 1st of last year, according to Congolese health officials. And 2,899 of those individuals have tested positive for Ebola virus disease. Yes, because it was in the experimental vaccine, that's why. Which is transmitted through contact with blood or secretions from an infected person and causes an often fatal type of hemorrhagic fever. And there have been so far 2,006 deaths so far, which is a bit sad, including 1,901 people who died from confirmed cases of Ebola. The other deaths are considered probable cases, and just over 900 people sickened with the virus have recovered so far. And the grim milestone comes a month after the World Horror Organization, which is the global health arm, horror arm of the United Nations, declared the ongoing outbreak a international emergency. India next has published the final version of a list which effectively strips 1.9 million people in the northeastern state of Assam of their citizenship. Nice to see they haven't improved much. Now, the National Register of Citizens is a list of people who can prove they came to the state by the 21st of March 1971, the day before neighbouring Bangladesh declared independence from Pakistan. People left off the list will have 120 days to appeal against their exclusion, like they're going to go through 1.9 million people appealing in 120 days. That's not how bureaucracy works, is it? And it's unclear what happens next. India says the process is needed to identify illegal Bangladeshi migrants, and it has already detained thousands of people suspected of being foreigners in temporary camps which are housed in the state prisons. Unbelievable. But deportation is not currently an option for the country. The process has also sparked criticism of witch hunts against Assam's ethnic minorities, and a draft version of the list published last year had 4 million people excluded. When we realise that all people are important and countries aren't, then perhaps we'll develop a better world, shall we say. Hong Kong police have used tear gas, rubber bullets and water cannons to disperse crowds as tens of thousands marched in the city defying the ban. And demonstrators lit fires through petrol bombs, according to the mainstream media, likely done by their own police inserted into the crowd, as we all know, and attacked the Parliament building, an event that marks 5 years since Beijing ruled out fully democratic elections, which was banned in Hong Kong, a special administrative region of China, which was formerly Britain. Now, on Friday, several key pro-democracy activists and lawmakers were arrested, and the protest movement grew out of rallies against a controversial extradition bill, which is now suspended, and I believe, if I saw the headline yesterday, it's now being cancelled, which would have allowed criminal suspects to be sent to mainland China for trial. It's not the issue of criminal suspects, it's more an issue of political targeting. which has plagued China and other countries around the world, where they decide that you're a dissident and suddenly arrest you, and all hell breaks loose. Those people go missing, tortured, you name it. And that's the real issue. The US military is set to pull troops from 5 Afghan bases, it was said this week, under a proposed deal with the Taliban. Now, the US envoy leading talks with the insurgents said Monday in some of the first confirmed details of a much anticipated accord. Zalmay Khalilzad, who has spent about a year negotiating with the Taliban, said the drawdown would occur within about 4 months of a final deal being approved, provided the Taliban stick to their commitments. And he went on, "We have agreed that if the conditions proceed according to the agreement, we will leave within 135 days 5 bases in which we are present now." The question remains, given the report we put out in last week's news, or the sub-intel, is what are they going to do with the private CIA groups in that country? It's all right removing the US military, but are they going to remove the private security Langley groups? Because if they remain, the whole thing will just carry on, and the whole thing was essentially a load of poppy, pun intended. That's the last of the news.